Back. You're listening to TurboCharge Your Business on the number one global business talk and news network on the internet, IBGR, International Business Growth Radio. I'm Patty Lawrence, and this is episode 18, Succession Planning. Be sure to go to our website at ibgr.network and download the show notes. So let's talk about succession planning as part of people planning for our businesses and the growth of our businesses. Well, what is it? What the heck is it? Well, the definition, and I'll tell you the quote dictionary definition of succession planning, it's the process of identifying critical positions within your organization and developing action plans for individuals to assume those positions. So, what does that entail? Well, first off, it entails uh, putting job descriptions together. Every person in your organization should have a darn job description. So, job description, role description, you can you call it whatever you like, but you basically are putting together a listing of the tasks and responsibilities for that position in your company. So, say you have three associate positions, pretty much they're all going to be the same in terms of their description, their role description. But when you get to the specific tasks, they might vary a little bit because they might be specific to a certain workflow or a certain process in your company. And to support that, they have to be doing certain tasks, certain specific tasks that are associated with that workflow. So it's important to have these documented throughout your organization, because if you need to hire, then you just pull that and you can put a job posting together from it. But it also communicates exactly what your expectations are of that role to the incumbent or to the potential candidate, right? And if there are changes made along the way because you are growing, you will want to revisit those on occasion. So make that a regular part of your annual planning process, is to address the people planning side of it by going back and looking at your role or slash position description slash job descriptions, whatever you call them in your organization. So those are really important. And you can find templates out there on the web. Just do a quick search on those and you can get some kind of a template to fill out. The basics are, what is the mission for the role? What are the tasks required? What are the accountabilities and metrics for the role? What might you want to add into that is very specific to your industry. Yeah, those are the real the very important things. The other things that come into play in that as well is what part of the process do these roles fit into in your company. That's another great high level look at your organization. When you look at workflows, what specific workflows go with, or excuse me, what specific roles go and feed into and are accountable for certain processes and workflows in your organization. That's really critical. Documenting all of those will also help to highlight areas where you are missing something. You're missing a critical piece in the workflow. Maybe it's critical, some critical thinking, critical function, critical role, that maybe it's quality control. Oh my goodness, we see this and that's missing. We don't have quality control before this gets delivered. So whatever that is, seeing it on paper or on a flip chart or on a whiteboard is extremely helpful in identifying where you might have some disconnects within your organization. So having that visual will make it front and center for you, and it gives you the ability to see it versus kind of living it on a daily basis, right? Day in, day out, it just happens, right? But when you actually see it, then that reveals what might be missing in your organization. So what's important there? The important piece of in the succession planning process, starting out with those role descriptions. Okay. The next piece of it is looking at your processes, right? Looking at those processes that I mentioned before. The roles feed different processes and support different processes in your organization. So it's really important to look at those as well and make sure that you've got enough support for those workflows as designed to support the organization, support the delivery of goods and or services to your clients and customers. So when we boil it down to what is succession planning, we talked about the actual definition, the high level definition, but there are some steps that you need to go through in order to do a succession plan for your organization. So how often should you do it? Well, you should actually do it once a year, revisit it once a year, once you do it. So it's kind of like the one-page strategic plan we talked about. You'll want to get this out in addition to doing your strategic plan. Look at your succession plan and see what needs to be updated, what's changed, who has changed. Your organization, if you're growing, that is going to change over time. And the needs are going to change. The needs of the organization are going to change. So what are we doing here? Well, first step is to identify the critical roles. What are the critical positions critical roles, you can use it interchangeably, in your company that key in on it's the glue holding the company together. What are those critical roles? Critical to delivery, critical for sales, critical for ownership, critical for the financial function. All of those functions have critical roles. What are those critical roles in your organization? Then you need to construct what they call success profiles. So, what defines success in those roles? What does success look like? Okay. And we talked a little bit about what are some of the accountabilities and metrics and KPIs that you're going to measure success on. So, what is the success that you want from that role in your company that you need to have, that the company needs to have? Then the third thing you'll need to do, the third step is to really assess your staff. In a small company, it's going to be critical because you're not going to have bench depth, right? You're not going to have three people that could actually come in and each equally do this with a little more training. Maybe not. But you still want to take inventory of each of your staff members and see what unique talents, abilities do they have to offer the company. And maybe it's something that will allow them to grow into a new role within your organization or grow with you as the needs become apparent in other areas and different functional areas. Then what you want to make sure is you've got somebody that can take on that particular role. And oh, by the way, it could be a promotional opportunity for them. So there you have another win for your company because you're also retaining your people and you're demonstrating to other employees that you have opportunities to grow within the company. They don't have to leave. The fourth thing, I'm just leading into that, is really create their development plans. What new expertise, what new learning do they need to acquire to be able to attain success in those other areas? Those are the things that you want to put together for those people. Develop successors. So there you go. You want to make sure that you've got somebody that can step into that, and you're going to put those development plans together and put the learning plans together so that they can step up, if you will, into those next positions at the time that you'll need them to ascend to them. And then you want to ready those successors over time. So you want to develop them over time, but you want to make sure, are they ready? Are they ready to go? Can they do the job that you're going to need them to do, right? The role, and can they fulfill those tasks? Are they ready to do it? Do they need more maturity? Do they need more experience? Do they need more learning? Do they need more specific education? What are those things that they need? Make sure they're getting them along the way. Then review. You're going to have to review them, and you're going to have to review your plans as well over time, because remember, you're a growing organization, you're a growing company, and things change over time. Your competition, your competitive landscape is going to change over time. Your hiring pool is going to change over time. Your company is going to change over time. Maybe you're selling into different markets, into different segments, into different countries. You may need some language skills to bring on board. Whatever those are, you're going to need to keep reassessing that over time and baking that back into your succession plan, right? The growth plan is going to drive your growth, is going to drive that need for a succession plan. So why not take a stab at it? It's not that difficult. You can start small, but have at it and make sure that you are bringing the right people, and you have the right people in the right seats on your bus. We're going to take a short 2-minute break, and when we return, we'll be talking about growth related people planning. Be sure to check out my collection of free resources at turboexecs.com/turbocharge. And you can continue the conversation with me, Patty Lawrence, on LinkedIn. You have been listening to Turbocharge Your Business and episode 18, Succession Planning, on IBGR. I'm Patty Lawrence, and we'll be back after a short break.